Hi, my name is Gabby, and we are here with a very special guest, Mr. Rod Martin, a former actor of my project, but he's really a Hollywood actor. Can you say hi, Mr. Martin?
Hi. Not actually a Hollywood actor, but a Hollywood artist who's done background art in films.
Oh, so you're a software engineer, as you said.
A software engineer, that was one of my careers. Before that, I was a Hollywood artist with screen credit.
Also, behind the scene, you're not really the
Behind the
front.
scenes,
Oh,
yes.
I see. But on top of these skill for writing, um, you also knew about writing important topics that matters in the world. Like, for example, climate. Yeah. You told me about, can you please come near because the video, the voice isn't. Yeah, you told me about climate that you wrote exactly. What is the title?
It's a book called Climate Basics, and it was a #1 bestseller on Amazon for 14 weeks. And basically, what it talks about is the facts about climate that let us know we don't need to be afraid.
But I think we are burning, so we should be afraid. Oh my God, my skin! Oh, it's too hot. I can't sleep at night. We have to be scared of that. Like the rainy season becomes very dry season, and the dry season becomes rainy season, and then every other day it changes, and it has typhoon even. Typhoons come and go irregularly.
That's weather. And
Oh,
we always
are
have
you
weather.
sure?
We always have weather.
God.
And climate has been changing since the beginning of Earth for 4.5 billion years.
How old is the Earth?
It's about 4.5 billion years old.
So it will change now.
The climate always changes. So that what most people don't understand is that we currently live in an ice age.
The Ice Age. I saw that movie.
Well, that's largely fiction.
I see.
But Ice Age,
The ice are melting.
Ice Age means that we live in an epoch that has ice at the poles. Okay,
At the North Pole.
North Pole and South Pole.
Oh.
So we have ice
okay.
at both poles, but we didn't always have ice. It wasn't always Ice Age. Before the Ice Age, the Earth was much, much, much warmer. There was no ice.
What happened when the Ice Age evolved?
Okay, the movements of continents.
The seven
con-
continents?
Well, at one time, the 7 continents were one, called Pangaea, and then they broke up about 180 million years ago.
Separated
Yes,
with water.
and some of the continental mass ended up being at the South Pole, and ice started to build up. So ice
But
built
how
up.
did the ice get
Well,
separated?
that's a complex topic that
Okay.
is
So
too much
let's
for
go
this
back to
one
the
talk.
climate. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the main idea is that there's really nothing to fear about the climate, and the climate alarm is more political than anything. For instance, global warming, some people are saying that global warming will end up with more violent storms. And that's not true, because wind only blows because of temperature differences, like the cold ice at the poles and the warm tropics. That's a large temperature difference creating wind. And when you warm up the poles and that ice melts, then the poles become warm and the tropics are a little bit warmer. There's not much temperature difference, so not as much wind. Okay, so weather tends to calm down with global warming, and there's some people who are saying the opposite, and that's just not true. Also, some people are saying that, if it gets warmer, we'll have more droughts and the deserts will get bigger, and that's not true.
Yeah.
Rain
Like here. Okay, and then?
Rain only happens because of evaporation.
Yeah.
The warmer it gets, the more water evaporates from the oceans, the more rain we get. So deserts get smaller. droughts become fewer. We'll always get droughts, but they'll just get fewer and fewer. The warmer it gets, the wetter the planet gets, especially with small continents where the water can reach toward the interior.
So climate basics is normally talking about hot and cold. It's a combination of weather and it's normal.
It's saying that all the climate alarm that's in the news, the climate change scare, is based on
The storm coming.
backwards science. It's not scientific.
So how do we
It's political.
respond? So weather is not climate. So how do we respond to the basic turnaround of something different climatic condition? How do we prepare ourselves?
Now that's a good question. Preparing ourselves is probably the best thing that we can do because climate is always going to change. Preparing ourselves is always the best strategy. Climate changes, it gets warmer, it gets cooler, but we're in an ice age, so warming is the better direction to be headed. If we cool down, that spells disaster because climate changes, it goes from cooler to warmer. We're in what is called an interglacial, and our interglacial is about 6,000 years past the average size of an interglacial. In other words, we're overdue for the interglacial to end. And what that means is a new glacial period, which is much, much, much colder. And if we have a glacial period instead of an interglacial, then we're going to have bigger deserts because there's less evaporation and less rain.
So it's drought.
Cooler means more droughts.
Oh, now that's terrible for some vegetation.
Terrible for all vegetation, especially that at the edge of deserts. So the desert's going to get bigger and bigger. In fact, right now, the biggest desert is not the Sahara. It's Antarctica.
Antarctica. I thought
That's
it's
where
in
there's-
New Zealand.
Antarctica is
North
all
and the south.
in the south, and it is all ice, but there's very little precipitation. All that ice and snow has been building up for millions and millions of years.
You mean to say when there's a climate change, they might form a tsunami or something?
I'm sorry?
A tsunami or becomes dry?
No, tsunami, that's a large wave that's created by earthquakes.
Large deserted place, so we're gonna be heated
Well,
and there's no
okay.
water.
Climate change is being thrown around as a poorly used term.
Okay.
Okay,
Please define it.
climate change means any kind of change like warming, cooling, more turbulent, less turbulent, changing
Dry.
the atmospheric chemistry. It could be anything. And to say that climate change is bad means that if climate warms up, which actually is better, they're saying, "Oh no, it's bad." You know,
Relax.
they don't define what is good climate.
So, what is the advantage of your article? What do you think is the impact of your article to those who purchase it in Amazon?
Well, hopefully it calms them down and reduces their fear because climate has always changed, and the best thing that we can do is to prepare for whatever changes are coming our way.
I see. So, what kind of preparations do we do?
Okay, one thing that we could do if humanity got together and worked toward a common goal, they would end the current ice age. Now, that would produce some challenges, but they would be slow challenges because it takes thousands and thousands of years to melt those millions of cubic miles of ice. Okay, so if they melted all of that ice and ended the current ice age, then
water.
weather would be calmer. There wouldn't be as many storms. Tornadoes would perhaps even be eliminated altogether. So
it's a good climate.
It would be a good thing, and warmer means that we can plant more crops. We can have more land to utilize. One problem: melting all that ice, sea levels would rise. So you could move the cities. That would take a while, but the rising oceans would be very slow. It's not going to be overnight.
The rising ocean covering the houses?
It would cover the houses. If you melted all
I think this is fiction.
No, if you melted all of the ice in Antarctica and in Greenland, you would rise sea
Cities.
level by about 200 feet.
That's very high.
Or let's see, how many meters would that be? So that'd be about 60 meters.
Mr. Martin, since we do have basic climate changes every now and then, every 4.5 billion years, so what do you think is the architecture of the house that will withstand all the climatic changes? What's so funny?
There is no one size fits all.
We have to build many types of houses like a bombshell.
Well, that's certainly we need to. Let me put it this way: if you warm up the planet and eliminate the difference between the polar temperature and the equatorial tropical temperature, if you reduce that, you're going to end up with calmer weather. So you won't need to prepare for typhoons.
You know, I used to live many places like just renting and then their houses are 12-inch square meters something, because why are your rooms so small windows, having so small windows? And they said, what if it rains comes? That's the way they prepare their house. Rain will come and so that it will not enter, so they have a small window.
Okay, well, if they put glass in the window instead of just open air, then the rain won't come in. So there are different materials you can use to handle these types of problems. But the one nice thing about carbon dioxide, which we're creating more, it's a good thing. It's making plants produce more food. In fact, food production is outpacing population growth. You have food production today is far more than our grandfathers and great-grandfathers ever would have dreamed possible.
You mean to say we are really, it's the climate change is really beneficial to us?
Yes, the warming and more carbon dioxide. Both of those are helping to produce what is now a reality, the most prosperous period in human history. In fact, about 10 years ago, the rate of extreme poverty in humanity, planet-wide, started to drop. And it has precipitously dropped, so that now
we are survivors.
A far smaller number and a far smaller percentage of people are in extreme poverty.
Just because of the climate?
Well,
people can work, people don't get lazy.
Climate is better. More carbon dioxide means more food. Technology, the ingenuity of man has made food production better, more easy to produce. It's made lives better for people.
Yeah.
Plus, you have greater freedom. People are discovering greater freedom with their governments and the management of their societies, so that they're able to do more things with more freedom, and that allows them to use their own ingenuity to solve the problems of their own neighborhoods,
So,
their own societies.
even the climate alone can be susceptible to food production and how people respond to it, how people become more productive because of the climatic situation.
Global warming helps produce more food. Global cooling would do the opposite.
Oh.
We're in an ice age, and if you cool the climate significantly, and there are some very crazy people at Harvard, the United Nations, and other groups.
That's too
Bill
much.
Gates.
It's a
Bill Gates.
big institution.
I know, and it's mind-boggling that there are so many evil
Twisting.
or stupid people
Believing.
that we need to cool down the planet
Oh.
in an ice age. That's nuts.
It has to become normal change.
Well,
Not really.
warming in an ice age is a good thing.
Oh,
Means
yeah.
more food.
And they're scaring us about it's global warming, the ozone layer is destroying, right?
Well, ozone was like a 1980s scare tactic. Before
Why
that, in
do
the
we have to be
1970s,
scared?
It was global cooling that was the big scare,
No, it's global.
and now it's global warming.
Oh.
They've been practicing their scare tactics, and that's not good.
To sell what? Because there's always an exchange. The
To
fear.
sell control.
Oh, they can do
They want to
anything.
control masses of people by using emotion, fear.
Oh my
And
God.
that's not a good way to manage the planet.
Well, tell that to the leadership.
The best way to manage the planet is to educate people so they can think clearly. When the individual citizen can think clearly, and they can hear the information about a topic and make up their own minds about it.
Yeah, not just
then-
to be
then
dictated what
that's
to
more-
do.
That's more healthy
I see.
in the long run.
Yeah, but it makes sense. Even to put it in a simple lingo, in an ice age with the ice in the North Pole and the South Pole, and there's global warming, so it will melt the ice
Slowly, yeah.
slowly and add some water.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the melting in the poles is slowed down by the fact that as you warm things up, precipitation,
Rain.
rain and snow, you
Yeah.
get more of it, and because some of that is snowing on Greenland and Antarctica,
Oh.
it takes more water out of the oceans. So sea level rise is slowed
Covering
down.
200
It's slowed
feet.
down.
Uh-huh.
It's slowed down, so it's going to take thousands and thousands of years,
Oh.
even if global warming continued
Yeah.
and it didn't start to cool off. It would take thousands of years to melt it all.
Wow.
So we have lots of time to move. There's no danger. But climate always changes. It warms up and it cools down, and it warms up and it cools down. It's always gone
Balance.
up and down.
It's balance.
Yes, and then there are short-range trends, and then there are long-range trends.
But I always read magazines about global warming. Is something like that, like
They're trying to do
Negative
scare tactics.
propaganda.
It's propaganda. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to believe that propaganda. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I used to believe it. When Al Gore, Vice President Al Gore, came out with his film in 2006,
Titled.
the title of it was An Inconvenient Truth.
Wow, I better
And it-
research on that.
And it was a slick movie. It was a
It opened your eyes.
A documentary that used emotion instead of truth.
An inconvenient truth.
It used emotion instead of truth
Oh,
to
that's bad.
sell lies.
Oh my God, I think it deserves another topic. I couldn't, maybe my audience find your talk very deep, but I understand now about the climatic. But I like that inconvenient truth to talk about it next time. Is that
Okay.
okay, Mr. Martin?
Sure.
So please say to the public, like how to be not how do you call that?
Not afraid?
No, not afraid of these negative talks about global warming or climate change. How to respond to it.
Okay, well, I could recommend my book because it's very simply written.
Yeah.
It's short, and it explains things in terms that people can understand. Like, we all know that hot air rises.
Yeah.
Okay, and from that simple fact, you can debunk, you can counter the lies about climate change.
Water
And so my whole-
rises because of the sun pulling it up.
No, hot air rises. You've seen a hot air balloon. You've seen smoke
Yeah.
rise from fire.
It can fly airplanes, right?
That's a different topic. But hot air rises, and that causes wind to blow. And if you know
Fly.
that fact, you can very simply go step by step to debunk the alarm, the lies about climate change.
Okay.
So my book, Climate Basics, Nothing to Fear, is available
At Amazon.
Online. It's also available in Barnes & Noble bookstores and a number of other bookstores around the world.
So you have a soft copy only. You don't have hard copy.
I have there. It's hardcover. It's paperback.
Do you have it in your house?
Yes.
Oh, we should have brought it next time.
Um,
Thank you,
yeah.
Mr. Martin, for guesting.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.